Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. If you did see reports that came out yesterday in relation to Louis Van Gaal, reportedly he's mentioned about currently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of play Manchester United, and reportedly from Louis Van Gaal's perspective, he's reportedly said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly parks the bus and plays defensive, just like basically former manager Jose Mourinho. So he's saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of play is identical to Jose Mourinho's. Reportedly saying that obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly parks the bus. Well, Louis Van Gaal is currently wrong about this. I've read quite a few articles about it, to be quite honest with you as well. Obviously, our style of play was absolutely atrocious, under Louis Van Gaal, to be quite honest with you. I know he brought a lot of players, to Manchester United. Of course, did Louis Van Gaal, but reportedly he's come out and mentioned, that reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer parks the bus and plays defensive, just like Jose Mourinho currently did. So he's saying the difference is obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's winning, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's winning, Jose Mourinho wasn't winning. This is what Louis Van Gaal has currently mentioned. He did mention about, that he's currently, changed Paul Popper's position and all that as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But reportedly he's saying Manchester United are not playing not playing the Ferguson way, and this is what Louis Van Gaal has currently said in the media. In my opinion, I think, Solskjaer has brought the brand that attacking football, back to Manchester United, that we did play under Alex Ferguson, of course. So from Louis Van Gaal's perspective, we are playing defensive, counter-attacking football, and what he's saying is it's obviously hard, to break us down, because he thinks, we're playing that defences, and this is what, basically, Louis Van Gaal has currently said. But, we're not parking the bus, whatsoever under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. I know against Tottenham, in that game when, we're 1-1-0, we leaked. I know we do leak a lot of chances, to be quite honest, because, David De Gea in that game, had to make 11 saves in the second half, but we're not parking the bus at all. In the PSG game in the second leg, we created, we let a lot of chances, past us as well, and we do leak a lot of chances, to be quite honest with you as well. But Louis Van Gaal is totally wrong, of what he's currently saying, of course. And we did park the bus when we had Jose Mourinho, especially in the big games, of course, as well. So basically, Louis Van Gaal has come out in the media saying, that Solskjaer reportedly parks the bus and all this, and reportedly he says Manchester United play defensively, and this is what he's basically saying, of course, as well. And I don't agree, with what currently Louis Van Gaal is currently saying. So yeah, that's the latest news to just give you an update on what Louis Van Gaal has currently said in the media. And I'm going to give you an update on a bit of transfer rumours that have been going on, as well as they have been updating you on a regular basis. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly, wants 4 summer signings. He wants to get 4 players to Manchester United this summer. Reportedly, the 3 top targets, Solskjaer has submitted, to the Manchester United board, of course, as well. So I think he's got 3 top targets, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring to Manchester United this summer. Obviously, we're going to see players leave Manchester United as well, of course, this summer as well. And I think Solskjaer has basically said that he wants to get rid of 3 players, of course, as well. So obviously, there could be more than 3 players, leaving Manchester United this summer. Reports coming out saying that Solskjaer, is set to be appointed Manchester United manager permanently sometime this week, as the media does currently explain. But big news coming out about Paul Pogba, as I've been updating you on a regular basis. Obviously, Louis Van Gaal's come out and said, basically, Solskjaer has changed Paul Pogba's position, and all this. So that's one good thing, he basically, did say in relation to that. Reports coming out saying that Paul Pogba is demanding that he wants an annual salary of around 13.65 million per year if he's to join Real Madrid, or if he's to go if he's to make a return back to Juventus, because reports have been coming out from Spain saying that reportedly he's decided on his Manchester United future and that he does want to leave Manchester United this summer. His likely destination is probably Real Madrid. I think his agent Raiola is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club as well. But reportedly Manchester United are set to resist any offers, and we are willing to reject any offers from Real Madrid or Juventus and all that Paul Pogba, because I think Manchester United, do want to keep Paul Pogba, of course, because we have seen the best of him within this 3-month or so period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But reports have said, obviously, Barcelona linked with him, Juventus are linked with him, Real Madrid are the front runners, to get Paul Pogba, of course, because obviously Zinedine Zidane is obviously, planning for the investment this summer, as we all know, because obviously he's going to get around a £300 million spending spree spending this summer. Zinedine Zidane, Florentino Perez is obviously, giving him this spending spree. Probably players are going to leave Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. But I think, obviously, the recent comments, that Paul Pogba has said in relation to Real Madrid, saying that, he's described Real Madrid as a dream club, and this is what Pogba has said. He's also basically says Real Madrid is a dream for anyone, and he did say it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. So obviously his comments, he's basically said, I think he intends to go to Real Madrid this summer, as well as Paul Pogba. He's been here since 2016, of course. Manchester United, paid £89 million for him, of course. So obviously he's our most expensive player, of course, in the process. But I don't think Man United are willing to let him go this summer. But there has been reports saying that, basically his agent Raiola is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, and reportedly he's demanding, he wants an annual salary, his annual salary of around 13.65 million per year, and this is what reportedly he wants to be. This is what he reportedly wants to receive. So reportedly this will make him the highest paid player at Real Madrid, of course, as well. And I think Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of Paul Pogba, and he wants to get Paul Pogba as well. And we do basically know that Paul Pogba is still under contract with Manchester United until 2021, of course, as well. I think he has actually, turned down a contract offer as Paul Pogba as well in the current process. But we know he's been one of our most influential players, of course, as well. He's been providing good service to the front men. He's been playing delicate passes through. He's been scoring goals. He's been providing and all that as well. So potentially, Manchester United, wouldn't want to lose him, of course, to be quite honest with you. But Real Madrid are probably likely to land him this summer, even though there has been talks, that he could potentially, possibly make a return back to Juventus. Where he did have 4 good years as well. Paul Pogba, and there's still talk, that Barcelona are linked with him as well. So they are the 3 teams that are linked with Paul Pogba. So these talks saying that he could go back to Spain. No, sorry, he could go back to Italy, or he could go to Spain as well. Paul Pogba. So there's been a lot of rumours, going on about that. So reportedly he could leave Manchester United this summer as well. And he actually dreams playing for Real Madrid. And he did admit, playing for Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid, would be a dream for him as well. Even though recent reports did say he insists he's happy at Manchester United at the moment. The way Solsjaker's got him playing, and he's getting the best out of Solskjaer. Solskjaer's getting the best out of Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So possibly on his way out of Manchester United this summer, according to reports in Spain as well. That reportedly he's made a decision, and reportedly he wants to leave Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. And his agent Raiola is in the process of finding him a new club as well. So that's the latest news to update you on that. As I've been giving you updates on Ander Herrera, of course, in the process as well. Reports are coming out saying that, PSG have expressed a strong interest in Ander Herrera. Obviously, in the process, Manchester United have been in talks of getting Ander Herrera a new contract as well, as we all know. I think he's still got like 3 months left on his current deal as Ander Herrera, but so far we are yet to come to an agreement. As he did admit, PSG's transfer interest is logical, and this is what, Ander Herrera had basically said. But I think his future is up in the air at the moment. He's unsure about his Manchester United future. He's Ander Herrera, but reportedly said PSG have expressed an interest. Obviously, PSG are looking for someone, to partner Verratti in their midfield, and obviously they probably have identified, thinking that Herrera is probably, the right man for PSG. I think Herrera, recent reports did say he was keen on staying at Manchester United, and he was keen to sign a contract extension and all this. But some reports did say that he was on the verge of joining. He was on the verge of joining PSG, of course, as well. But obviously, PSG probably seen him as a replacement for Adrien Rabiot, because obviously Adrien Rabiot is likely to leave PSG this summer. Obviously still very young. Obviously spent the majority of his career with PSG. Obviously he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season. Does Adrien Rabiot as well? He's refused to sign a new contract. PSG have withdrawn him from their squad as well. And I think Manchester United have been keen on actually signing Adrien Rabiot this summer, because recent reports did say Solskjaer has urged the Manchester United board and told Ed Woodward that he wants Adrien Rabiot at Manchester United. But there's been a few teams, that have been interested in him as well. So obviously they've identified Herrera as a good replacement for Adrien Rabiot. It did say PSG reportedly are willing to offer Ander Herrera £150,000 a week plus a 3-year deal as well. And I think he's demanding wages of around £150,000 a week, Ander Herrera. So he's demanding a wage increase, Ander Herrera, and PSG are willing to offer him £150,000 a week reportedly as well. But we do know how much of a consistent player he's been for Manchester United, Ander Herrera. This is his 5th season now at Manchester United. We got him from Bilbao back in 2014, and as during his Manchester United tenure as a player so far, he has had rough patches under Herrera, but especially since Solskjaer's come in, his performances have really improved under Herrera's, of course, as well. He's been breaking the play very well. He's been fitting in that midfield trio very well. Of course, just recently, recovered from a hamstring injury as well. And we do know how much of a consistent player he's been. So we do want to basically, try to keep hold on. We want to keep hold of Herrera and try to convince him to sign a new contract at Manchester United as well. I do think he's 29 years of age now. He's under Herrera, of course, as well. But his performances have been fantastic under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's been fitting in that midfield trio very well. He's been playing more regularly in the team, and he's been playing a big part in the team as under Herrera as well. But the rumours do continue to persist that obviously he's attracting interest there from Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, this is Thomas Tuchel's first season in charge of PSG, so obviously he'll want investment in that PSG squad as well. And it's also said that Arsenal have been interested in under Herrera as well. He's saying that Arsenal have been interested, but obviously the wages he's demanding under Herrera could be a problem of Arsenal getting the pursuit of the player. So reportedly PSG and Arsenal are planning to get him on a free transfer when his contract comes to an end this summer of course as well. Reports are saying that Arsenal of course are interested because obviously this is Umran Ray's first season. Obviously he's still in the process of rebuilding that Arsenal team. Arsenal need to address their defensive deficiencies because they do need a defender. Arsenal have had quite a lot of injuries this season, just like my club Manchester United have as well. But obviously they're planning for investment this summer as well of Arsenal, but they've showed an interest in under Herrera of course. And Man United probably wouldn't want to lose under Herrera as we all currently know. Obviously Arsenal losing Aaron Ramsey of course this summer on a free transfer. He's signed a 4-year deal with Juventus. He's going to be the highest British paid player. He's going to be the second highest paid player behind Cristiano Ronaldo in the Juventus team as well. So maybe they could see Herrera as a good replacement for Aaron Ramsey of course. But Aaron Ramsey's been a good servant for Arsenal. He's been there 11 years of course as well. He's a good box-to-box midfielder. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Scored 60 odd goals as well as Aaron Ramsey of course as well. But he's going to Juventus this summer. Obviously back in January Arsenal did get Denis Suarez on loan. Is he going to possibly return to Barcelona at the end of the season of course, because obviously I haven't really watched much of him. He actually is a midfielder, but he can actually play as a winger. I think Umran Ray sees Denis Suarez more of a winger than actually a midfielder of course as well. And I haven't really watched much of him, but I also do have the option to buy him permanently in the summer for around 17-18 million pounds something like that as well. But reportedly Arsenal have expressed their interest in under Herrera. So reportedly Arsenal are planning to hijack PSG's move for under Herrera of course well. So there's a possibility that under Herrera will leave Manchester United this summer. Solskjaer is keen on adding depth in our midfield. I think he's keen on bringing an attacking midfielder in. My opinion we do need a CDM to Manchester United as well, so we need a defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious of course. And as I did say, I think the left hand side would be okay because that's where the majority of our attack is coming from, that left hand side. We definitely need a centre back, to be quite honest with you, even though recent reports did say that Solskjaer wasn't interested in buying any defenders. He wants to give our current defenders a second chance, to prove and impress themselves. And I think he's focusing on more attacking additions to the squad, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because reportedly said he'd been given around £80 million to buy a defender, even recent reports did say earlier this month that he wasn't interested in buying any defenders. His priority is to get a right winger to Manchester United as well, and it is essential that we do get a right winger, someone that can play between the byline, someone that can put them crosses into the box as well. But I think Solskjaer's got 3 top targets, to be quite honest with you, that he submitted to the Manchester United board. Obviously the top target we know is Jadon Sancho. We know obviously another top target is obviously Koulibaly as well. He's a priority target as well. But yeah, there's been the host of players at Manchester United have expressed an interest in of course as well. But what Louis van Gaal has come out in the press and said, he's basically criticised in a way, basically saying that Solskjaer parks the bus, like Jose Mourinho did. So he's saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of football and that and style of play is basically, like Jose Mourinho's of course as well. He did say one good thing, that he's changed Paul Popp's position. He's putting in more like of an important role and stuff like this. But reportedly he says we are not playing, like we did under the Alex Ferguson way. He's saying we are playing defensive, counter-attacking football, and this is what basically Louis van Gaal has come out in the press and said in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. But as we do know, Solskjaer, as we all know anyway, he's on the verge of getting the Manchester United job on a full-time basis, based on his fantastic progression he's done so far since he's come to the club, because we know the results have been very positive. The performances have been been very, very good indeed. The performances have been very, very good indeed, and it'll only cost us around £7-8 million, to give him the job on a full-time basis. That's the compensation package, we'll have to pay to mould of course, because at the moment we're paid 1.8 million, to get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on a temporary basis, of course, and we do know that he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in terms of like winning any major honours. Hasn't really had any long tenures as manager, because he served a couple of years as Manchester United manager. Well, he was served a couple of years managing the Manchester United reserve team. He had 2 separate spells with Mould. He had the short tenure with Cardiff as well. So if he does get the job full time, which he's gonna anyway, because now obviously he is the favourite. Obviously, he'll plan for a long tenure, so he'll probably think ahead of the next 5 or 10 years. So he'll plan for a long legacy, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. And obviously, it's essential that Manchester United, of course, we do get that Champions League football for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window. So it is essential. And I still think, we can possibly win the Champions League. I know it's going to be very, very difficult indeed, but we either win the Champions League. In that aspect, it'll invest more money, of course, and obviously we'll get into Champions League for next season. If we don't win the Champions League, hopefully, we've got to try and finish in the top 4. So our top 4 ambitions are still alive anyway, and we know there's quite a few teams, going for that top 4, of course, and we are going to get around £200 million. We are going to get around a £200 million spending spree to spend this summer, of course, as well. Obviously, we know the club is still looking to hire a director of football, to come in as well, as we all currently know, guys. And obviously, Solskjaer's been discussing, the club's summer transfer plans, so he's already making plans for the summer, because he's on the verge of getting the job on a full-time basis, of course, as well. So he's already in the process, and obviously he's been in discussions with Manchester United board, what players should come in, what players, should leave in the summer. And we do know what players, probably, going to leave Manchester United in the summer. As I did say to you, Valencia is on his way out of Manchester United, of course, as well. Obviously, because we opted against that decision to give him that new 1-year extension. Valencia's obviously been here 10 years now, as we all know. Obviously, initially lost his place in the team. He's now 33 years of age, isn't he, or something like that, as well. So as I did say on that right-hand side, we do need someone young and ambitious on that right-hand side, to be quite honest with you. But Valencia's on his way out of Manchester United, of course, as well. And I don't know where he's going to go in the summer, but he'll leave on a free transfer this summer as well, will Antonio Valencia. Ashley Young will probably leave, when his current 1-year extension, expires, because by the time that expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age, will Ashley Young as well. Again, being one of the long-serving players here, this is what, his 7th, 8th season as a Manchester United player. Of course, he's won everything here domestically as Ashley Young, just like Antonio Valencia has, of course, as well. And I think Ashley Young, he's way past it now as Ashley Young. He has been essential over the years, but he has passed it now, to be quite honest with you as well. And obviously, Rojo's on his way out of Manchester United as well. I think Marcus Rojo's going to leave, to be quite honest with you as well, because he hasn't been that consistent for Manchester United. He has been inconsistent, but obviously, he struggled with his fitness regime. He's had a string of injuries, during his Manchester United playing career, as we all know, as well. And I think he has just recovered from long-term absences, Marcus Rojo, but I do think he's on his way out of Manchester United, to be quite honest with you as well, is Marcus Rojo. And I think Darmian could leave in the summer as well. He's another player who's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as a Manchester United player. So I think Darmian's on his way out of the club as well. Sanchez definitely on his way out of Manchester United, considering, obviously, the substantial wages he's currently receiving, which is obviously over £500,000 a week. Obviously, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League. Of course, it's going to be hard to find a buyer for him. So Man United may consider loaning him out in the summer, or, Sanchez even may be willing to take a wage cut or something like that as well. But Sanchez has been very, very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. When he has played, he's looked so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom, and he hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system, Alexis Sanchez. So he's definitely on his way out of Manchester United this summer, because I think Solskjaer's lost faith in him. He's lost trust with him in Alexis Sanchez, of course, as well. So players are definitely, going to depart Manchester United this summer as well. Obviously, there's still some contract renewals to sort out as well. And obviously, transfer rumours, I have been giving you guys an update on. Obviously, the number one target for this summer is obviously, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. As I have been giving you an update on that. Jadon Sancho reportedly is heavily linked to a move to Manchester United, and there's been a narrative going on about it now for the past 4 or 5 weeks, that Manchester United have been heavily linked with Jadon Sancho, of course, as well, because we do need a right winger, to be quite honest, and I think it complement our attacking line very, very well, with Jadon Sancho. Reports are coming out saying that Manchester United, at one point were prepared to pay up to the £100 million for Jadon Sancho, so this potentially, would make him the most expensive English footballer in world football, of course, as well, if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer. Reason recent reports did say our interest in Jadon Sancho is completely irrelevant. This is from Borussia Dortmund's perspective as well. It did say Manchester United officials have met up, with Jadon Sancho's representatives, regarding a £70 million, summer transfer as well. But maybe Manchester United, I believe we can get him for maybe for around 70, 80 million pounds, something like that as well. But I think according to Borussia Dortmund's perspective, they've ruled out selling Jadon Sancho this summer because obviously Borussia Dortmund do know how much of a central player he is to their team. We know financially they'd make a huge profit on the player because obviously they paid next to note for him, a couple of years back from Manchester City because they only paid £8 million for him from Manchester City a couple of years ago as well. But Jadon Sancho would be a great addition, to Manchester United, if he was to come in. And I think Solsjaker is keen on recommending, Jadon Sancho to come in as well. And his performances have been fantastic in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. And since he's broke into the first team, his performances have been absolutely fantastic as well. He's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. And he's still an upcoming future. He's still an upcoming player, as Jadon Sancho. And he's one of England's youngest upcoming prospects, as well, as we all know. Obviously, he did serve a couple of years with Manchester City, but he never broke into the first team with Manchester City. Jadon Sancho, of course, as well, because obviously he never broke into the first team with Man City. Man City couldn't, guarantee him regular first team football, and this is the main reason he left City and went to Borussia Dortmund, of course, as well. But he's attracted interest from quite a few teams across Europe as well. It's also said that PSG have been interested. Recent reports did say he would like to make a move to England. Jadon Sancho, of course, only broke into the England first team last year as well. So he only broke into the England first team last year as well. Did Jadon Sancho, but again, he's only just turned 19 years of age, and he has got a lot of years ahead of him as Jadon Sancho. But he's the club's number one priority target. So Man United are going to step up their efforts to try and pursue him away from Borussia Dortmund this summer as well. And he'd be a great addition to the team. He shows that ability to attack. He provides good width. He scores goals as well as he has proven with Borussia Dortmund. But Man United, somewhere along the line, have got to try convince Borussia Dortmund to sanction him off. If we were to offer £100 million, that would tempt Borussia Dortmund, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. But yeah, I do really like him, to be quite honest with you. And Manchester United, of course, are heavily linked with Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. And we do know that reports came out a couple of days ago as well, that Manchester United have entered the race, for the wonder kid, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Manchester United have also showed an interest in him as well, Callum Hudson-Odoi, he's only 18 years of age. Again, one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well. And he's only 18 years of age. Is Callum Hudson-Odoi. But reports come out about 3 or 4 days ago, was it, something like that? Manchester United have entered the race for Callum Hudson-Odoi because obviously we're in search for a winger because that's our priority. Callum Hudson-Odoi is a winger. He can also play as a forward as well. And there's quite a few teams that have expressed interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi because obviously back in January, as we all currently know, Bayern Munich were on the verge, of actually landing Callum Hudson-Odoi because obviously back in January it was Bayern Munich's top priority of course as well because obviously Bayern Munich had obviously had several bids turned down by Chelsea of course as well. It did say Bayern Munich were willing to offer Callum Hudson-Odoi that number 10 role of course because obviously Arjen Robben's set to leave probably Bayern Munich this summer as well, and obviously Bayern Munich have got quite a host of aging up players in their squad, and obviously they're looking to get some young players that can grow, develop and mould in their squad as well because they have got quite a few aging up players. But Callum Hudson-Odoi didn't join Bayern Munich in the January transfer, and even though initially he did put a transfer request in and saying that he did want to leave Chelsea, Callum Hudson-Odoi, because obviously he's got strong reservations about his game time with Chelsea, especially in the Premier League, because obviously he hasn't started a game in the Premier League this season, even though he has been actually participating in the cup competitions and all that. He has actually been playing, and he has been playing really well, but he hasn't started a game in the Premier League yet as Callum Hudson-Odoi. He is still under contract with Chelsea till 2020. I think Chelsea in the process has tried to convince him, to sign a new contract, but reportedly has indicated that he's nowhere near in the process of signing a new deal with Chelsea as well, Callum Hudson-Odoi. But Bayern Munich were on the verge of getting him back in the January transfer window as well, but Bayern Munich failed in their pursuit because Chelsea were reluctant and they weren't willing to offload him, of course, as well. Probably Bayern Munich are likely to revive their interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi this summer, but it says Manchester United have entered the race for him as well. And it's also said Liverpool have showed an interest, Borussia Dortmund have also been interested in Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. So there's been quite a few teams, interested in him as well. But I think it's ideal that Manchester United, look to go for some young upcoming players, obviously, because we have got quite a lot of experienced players, and they do seem to be the ones that that are causing us the problems, to be quite honest with you as well. So reportedly Manchester United have entered the race, for Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, as well. And other players, Manchester United have been interested in. We know that Manchester United are keeping tracks on Joe Felix as well. That Benfica youngster again. He's He's 19. He's an upcoming future as well. He's only 19 years of age. This player only broke into the Benfica first team last year, reportedly as well. Yet to make his senior debut, for his national team, Portugal as well. He has got a buyout clause of around £105 million or something like that in his contract with Benfica. But I think Man United have held negotiations with Benfica over a possible move for Joe Felix. He's also said Liverpool have been interested. Chelsea have also been interested in Joe Felix as well. But reportedly, Manchester United have also been interested in him as well. He's mainly a winner, but I think he can play in other positions as well. So he is versatile. He's Joe Felix as well. So his name has also been mentioned in the media. And there was a narrative. And there was a narrative going on about it, back in the January transfer window as well, that Manchester United had expressed a strong interest in Joe Felix as well. But he cost staggering amounts of money, of course, as well. And obviously, defensively, we know that Manchester United have been heavily linked with Napoli's Koulibaly, of course, as well. And he's obviously a priority target, for the summer, of course, as well. Obviously, we've got the financial power, to meet Koulibaly's valuation, of course, because recent reports have basically said that reportedly, Manchester United have been informed that Koulibaly will cost in the region of around £130 million. If Manchester United have got any chances of getting, Koulibaly this summer. So reportedly, Napoli demand that they want at least around £130 million if they are willing to do any business, for Koulibaly, of course, as well. Obviously, Man United have been long admirers of the player because obviously we were heavily linked to him back in January. We were linked to him last summer as well. So we have been linked to him for the past two windows, of course, as well. Man United were in negotiations back in January. In the process, Manchester United had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly, in the January transfer window. Obviously, the recent one was obviously, £95 million. But we do need someone that's going to come in and address our defensive deficiencies, and that Koulibaly, would be fantastic indeed. And look very, very good alongside Lindelof. He'd be a great leader in our back line. If Manchester United, were to get him. Obviously, if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, obviously, this would make him, the most expensive defender in world football. Obviously, make him our most expensive signing as well. Because obviously, the most expensive defender in world football at the moment is obviously Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who Liverpool paid £75 million for in January of last year, of course, as well. And so, obviously, reportedly, Napoli want around £130 million for him. Koulibaly's still got a contract with Napoli till 2023, of course, as well. But Napoli only paid, £6 or £7 million for him from Genk, was it, 5 years ago? Because he's been at Napoli since 2014. And he's grown, developed and flourished, fantastically well as well. And he's playing to the highest level. But maybe he may want to seek a new challenge. He may want to come and, experience, English football as well. It would be good for him, to come and experience English football. I think recent reports did say he was committed to Napoli. He was happy at Napoli and all this, but he did say he was happy. He was attracting interest Koulibaly as well. But if Man United were willing to offer £130 million this summer, this could convince Napoli to sanction him off, of course, as well. But Manchester United have been heavily linked with him, of course, as well. But we do need a world-class centre-back, and we need an experienced centre-back, of course, because we haven't had a world-class centre-back since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand. And Koulibaly is only 27, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. There's areas of his game he adapts very, very well. He's good in the air. He shows that ability, to play out from the back as well. His distribution's really, really good as well. His defensive capabilities are fantastic, and he's a really, really good player. And, he'd fit in our system, absolutely fantastically well indeed. And obviously other reports, have also, been coming out about Harry Maguire as well, because potentially Harry Maguire has been a Manchester United target, as we all know, as well as Harry Maguire. Reports are coming out saying that Manchester United, we've been told that reportedly we will have to pay a world record fee of around £90 million if we want to get Harry Maguire this summer. So potentially we'll have to make him the most expensive defender in the world, and obviously, we'll have to make him our most expensive signing as well if we have got any chance of landing Harry Maguire this summer, because reports have said basically that Leicester have reportedly risen their price tag on Harry Maguire, and reportedly they're demanding that they want around £90 million this summer for Harry Maguire if Leicester are willing to sanction the player off, of course, as well. And Harry Maguire's 26 years of age, of course, as well, as we all know, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's been at Leicester a couple of seasons now, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Manchester United are capable of currently doubling his current wages as well. He signed a new deal last season until 2023 with Leicester as well, but Manchester United have been interested. Solsjaker actually urged Manchester United board, to go all out, to sign Harry Maguire, of course, because initially it was valued at around £65 million, was it, or something like that as well. But obviously, we were we were linked with him last summer, of course, as well, because Jose Mourinho last summer, had quite a few targets he wanted to bring to Manchester United. Obviously, he failed in them pursuit that pursuit of them targets, and obviously the board weren't backing some of his signs, you know, that he wanted to get in, you know, Jose Mourinho, of course, as well. So obviously we're heavily linked with Harry Maguire last summer. Obviously now Manchester United have showed an interest in him again, to be quite honest with you, as well. But reportedly, we'll have to pay around £90 million in the process if we do want to get Harry Maguire this summer, of course, because maybe he's open to the move. Maybe he wants to play to the highest level, Harry Maguire. Maybe he wants to go to a team that's capable of winning trophies, that's capable of challenging for trophies and all this, and playing to the highest level, as I said, and elevating to that higher level. And obviously, he hasn't experienced this at Leicester, and he's not going to do this with Leicester, of course, as well as Harry Maguire. So reportedly, Manchester United will have to pay £90 million to get him reportedly as well. Obviously, other defenders, we know that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in as well. You know, obviously Raphael Varane, you know, has also, you know, been a Manchester United target, as we all know as well. And I do really, really highly rate Raphael Varane, you know, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Really, really good player indeed is Raphael Varane. Recent reports have said that reportedly he's notified his teammates that he does want to leave Real Madrid this summer, even though it did say he insists he's still happy, you know, with Real Madrid, because obviously he's remained loyal to Real Madrid, you know, for a number of years now. You know, this is what his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid, and he's a very, very good defender, you know, to be quite honest with you. You know, he'd look very, very good alongside Lindelof in our backline, you know, if he was to come in, you know, Raphael Varane. Obviously, we know he's got a huge release clause in his deal of around £431 million, is it, or something like that as well. He is under contract with Real Madrid until 2022 still as well as Raphael Varane, but obviously spent the majority of his career with with Real Madrid as Raphael Varane as well. And this is what his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid, and he's won a host of honours. He must have won about 15, 16 major honours or something like that as well. Obviously he began his career with Lens, you know, where he'd risen up the youth system and all that. He actually spent only 1 season in the senior team as well, you know, did Raphael Varane of course as well. But Manchester United have expressed an interest in him as well. His performances in the World Cup were very, very good indeed as well. But he reads the game well. He's very, very good in the air. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of tenacity about his play, and he's just a really, really good player. And he's only 25 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course. Obviously, from Real Madrid's perspective, and Zinedine Zidane, you know, wouldn't want to lose, you know, Raphael Varane, of course, to be quite honest with you as well. But it would be good for him, you know, to come and experience the Premier League, of course, as well. So reportedly, he's been Manchester United side, because there has been rumours going on saying that he could consider, you know, leaving Real Madrid this summer as well. So there has been talks about him going on as well. Obviously, we know there's been another target, you know, Manchester United have also, you know, had an interest in him as well, because obviously, you know, Man United, you know, have actually, you know, been interested in him before. He's obviously, you know, Roma's Costas Manolas as well, as I did give you an update on, because the reports are coming out, was it from the Italian press the other week or whenever it was, I actually give you an update on this, saying that reportedly Manchester United or Arsenal could land, you know, Costas Manolas this summer in a cut price fee if Roma failed to get top 4, and obviously if they fail to get Champions League qualification for the new season. So reportedly Costas Manolas will be allowed to leave Roma this summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League for next season. So if they fail to get top 4 this season, reportedly he will be allowed to leave Roma this in the summer. You know, will Costas Manolas as well. He's 27 years of age. Is Costas Manolas. He is Greek, as I've basically updated you on. He's been at Roma since 2014, so this is now his 5th season, I think, in the process with Roma as well as Costas Manolas. He's nowhere near on the same levels as the likes of the Varanes or the Diego Gordons or the Sergio Ramoses and all that, all the Koulibalis, as I said. But he's 27 years of age, reportedly. He's been at Roma since 2014. You know, he's also an ex-Olympiacos player. He's also an ex-Athens player as well. And his release clause is around £31 million or something like that. He is under contract with Roma, I think, and still until 2022 as well. But he's another defensive player, you know, that Manchester United have actually, you know, showed an interest in as well. And he also said that Arsenal had also, you know, showed an interest in him as well. I think from Roma's perspective, they want to try and remove his release clause, so in that way they can invest a bit more money, you know, for the player as well. So they can recoup a bit more money. But yeah, reportedly, you know, Manchester United have showed an interest in Costas Manolas as well. But the rumours going on about last year that Manchester United had showed an interest in him as well. But we do need someone that can go alongside Lindelof, of course, because we know most recently, you know, we've been going with Smalling and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, of course, as well. Bay's actually, you know, lost his place in the team as well, even though he's got great potential. You know, Eric Bay, of course, he's lost his place in the team as well. And as I did say, guys, you know, going into the game on Saturday, of course, against Watford, obviously it's essentially, you know, that Manchester United get back to winning ways. Obviously, you know, suffering back-to-back defeats, you know, before this international break, of course, as well. It is important, you know, that we get back to winning ways. The good news is, obviously, you know, there's these players that are set to return, you know, which is very, very good news. So, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, Matic, and Martial, who obviously all withdrew, you know, from international duty, are set to be all available, you know, to be in contention, you know, to play against Watford at the weekend as well, which is very, very good. It also mentioned that Eric Bay, Valencia and Darmian will be available as well, but obviously it's unlikely Valencia is going to be playing because obviously Ashley Young's our first choice right back. Eric Bay's obviously lost his place in the team, so he'll probably go with Small and Lindelof as centre-back partnership. I think Darmian's back from injury as well, so that's very, very good news as well. No, Lukaku's still out with injury. He didn't obviously participate for his country during this international break because obviously he's got an ankle injury. Romelu Lukaku that he sustained against PSG of course as well, so he's unlikely to play against Watford at the weekend. Romelu Lukaku, so hopefully Lukaku somewhere along the line is going to be back for the first leg Champions League quarter-final game against Barcelona of course as well. But Romelu Lukaku recently has regained his position back in the team, and he has been in really, really good form to be quite honest with you, and overall he's got a very, very good pedigree in the Premier League as Romelu Lukaku, and I think his form's been rejuvenated since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming to be quite honest with you. But I think Lukaku performs better and he looks more effective when he's getting that support up front to be quite honest with you. But he had been sent for a scan, and it is an ankle injury it's a foot injury that Romelu Lukaku has currently suffered, so hopefully his injury is not too currently severe as I currently said. So reportedly he's a doubt for the game at a weekend against Watford, and Watford won't be as easy as we think because Watford haven't done too bad in certain games this season. They're sitting 8th in the league. They've got Javier Gracia as their manager of course as well. Obviously they've progressed to the FA Cup semi-finals as well of Watford, but obviously this Man United Watford last season, obviously Man United won it by 1-0 at Old Trafford. We beat them 2-1 earlier on in the season as well, and we've won our 4 previous meetings against Watford of course as well. So I presume Manchester United should do it because it's important that we do get back to winning ways of course as well. And obviously we know that Solskjaer is probably going to get the job on a full-time basis, and it should be announced sometime this week according to the media, and it did initially say that Man United want it announced before the end of this month that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be Manchester United manager on a full-time basis of course as well. So the main part of this video, guys, I wanted to update you on is obviously in relation to Louis Van Gaal. Louis Van Gaal has reportedly come out in the press and he's basically said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's questioned, he's mentioned about his style of play and all that and his brand of football. And basically what he's saying is Louis Van Gaal, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, parts the bus and plays defensive, like Jose Mourinho. So he's saying it's identical to Jose Mourinho's, tight style of play and football and all that. And he's saying we are not playing the Alex Ferguson way, Louis Van Gaal. And this is what he's basically, mentioned and all that. He has mentioned that Pogba's position, has been changed and all that as well. And this is what, basically Louis Van Gaal had currently said. But as I was saying in relation to Paul Pogba, as I did say, reports have been coming out of Spain that he has decided on his Manchester United future, reportedly, as Paul Pogba reportedly he wants to leave Manchester United this summer. Man United are reluctant to let him leave this summer, so reportedly we will reject any offers if any offers do come for Paul Pogba this summer. Obviously Zinedine Zidane is keen on getting him to Real Madrid, of course, as well. But I think Paul Pogba intends of going to Real Madrid this summer because obviously what the recent comments he said, that he's described Real Madrid as a dream club and all this, and he admits playing for Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid, would be a dream and all that. And obviously his agent Raiola is in the process, finding him a new club as well. And I think he's turned down a contract offer from Manchester United, but Man United in the process will still try to convince him to sign a new contract at Manchester United as well. So hopefully somewhere along the line, we can convince Paul Pogba to remain loyal at Manchester United, of course. Obviously, if Jose Mourinho, of course, still would have been here, of course, as we all know, I think Paul Pogba would have gone by now, of course, as well, because obviously, he had a really, really bad relationship, with Jose Mourinho, did Paul Pogba as well, and there was talks last year of him, making a return back to Juventus. It also said, Barcelona, were also interested in Paul Pogba as well, but reportedly he's the... Alright. And reportedly, he's demanding an annual salary. He's demanding an annual salary of around 13.65 million a year. So he wants to become the highest paid player at Real Madrid if he's to join them this summer, of course, as well. So his agent Raiola is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club as well. And I'm shocked at this because obviously Paul Pogba seems very, very settled in now at Manchester United. Of course, he's been playing really, really well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's one of the best midfielders in world football. When he's playing in this kind of vein and when he's playing in this kind of manner and all that, and he's still under contract here till 2021, don't forget as well. So obviously more news, we'll update about of course as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care.